Hello guys, this is TheFTPdude and welcome again for another video in Epic 7. Today we are gonna have a lot of new stuff in the patch review and I'm gonna give you my opinions about all the new heroes, and they gave us very good heroes, especially this one, the Hedel Eric, the Full Metal Alchemist collaboration hero. So these are the stats. He's a fire warrior, he has very fast speed, 117 speed, very good HP, decent defense, and he's gonna have also crit hit chance concentration, so he's gonna start from 32 critical hit chance, which is very strong, and after you see the stats and the skills, he's gonna be pretty much like a fire Rimuru, but we're gonna see that later. So he's very tanky, very fast, he has high crit chance. This means you have a lot of flexibility on how you gear him. You can make him very fast, or you can make him really tanky with a lot of damage, and it's gonna be fast anyway with his high speed. This is the skill 2, probably the most interesting skill, and now you can start to see how he's very similar to Rimuru. This is a spell that can interact with the enemy when they attack you on specific conditions. In this specific case, after he's attacked and he has a debuff on, he's gonna dispel one debuff and activate Rise. With Rise, he's gonna dispel one buff from the enemy, and then he's gonna attack all the enemies, inflicting a random debuff from these debuffs here. So decrease attack, decrease hit chance, provoke, silence or restrict. And all of these debuffs are insane against cleaves. And you can even protect yourself with Run, with immunity, because it's just gonna dispel the immunity before the debuffs. Now skill 3, 4 turn cooldown, can be 2 turn cooldowns with 10 souls. It is a single target attack, it's gonna increase also the combat readiness of the caster by 50%, and it's gonna ignore damage sharing effects. No Horus, no Peira, and the damage dealt is gonna increase every time you use these skills up to 3 times. You can see another similarities to Rimuru, 2 turn cooldowns with 10 souls. Now you basically wanna soul burn these things all the time if you're not against Abelian. So you're gonna use this skill one turn, then you're gonna S1, and then you have this skill again. And one of the turns, you're gonna get 50% free combat readiness. So you're gonna cycle like crazy with this skill, the damage is gonna go higher, and the damage is not that bad though. We can see here 9k on Abelian. Skill 1, very solid skill for a bruiser. He's gonna attack and get a barrier proportional to his HP. So the barrier is gonna be very strong, and it's gonna prevent you from get too much injury, because this guy is gonna scale on HP, so he's gonna be very susceptible to injury. But on the other hand, I think you're gonna build this guy on injury too. Because first of all, you're gonna cycle like crazy, you are very fast anyway, and you get a free attack with the S2. Also, they buff the injury set, so even if he's single target with the S1 and the S3, he's gonna do a lot of injury. So he's gonna be strong against Aravi, he's gonna be strong against Alencia, and it's gonna be strong against Belian. So it's gonna be strong against a lot of stuff, and on the other hand, he's gonna sustain himself with the S1 barrier, so you're not gonna injure him that much with things like Aravi, for example. So I'm pretty sure he can solo Aravi in a one-on-one. Now this is his artifact. This is a very strong artifact too for him. I'm not sure though if you want this artifact or the Proof of Valor like Rimuru. He's gonna build these stats only if he extra attack, so only with the S2, so pretty much any hero in the meta has debuffs, so in the long run, this artifact is better. In the short run, if you want to counter cleaves, for example, the Proof of Valor is way better. Now overall, I think it's gonna be a very strong hero, guys. This is a must-have hero, and you need to summon for him, and you probably want as many copies as possible, because the crit chance concentration is the best concentration in the game, and you want as many imprints as possible on him. Now again, I think he's gonna be run on injury, because he's energized too well, he's gonna build up damage, he's gonna destroy the bruisers, and even with the S2, even if the enemy has a barrier on, let's say the enemy has a Mulet Kawarik with a barrier, you can just strip the barrier before hitting the enemy, so the enemy is not gonna even be protected from your injury. Another build can be very fast, but yeah, we're gonna see that. Next hero is gonna be Roy. He's a fire mage, and these are the stats. He has insanely high attack with attack concentration and kind of decent speed, 112, it's okay. Now this time I think this is a very bad hero though, and he has horrible skill designs, and you'll understand why. So he's gonna start the battle with 40 fighting spirits, and it's gonna have Flame Alchemist. It's a unique buff, it's gonna have hit chance and attack by 20%, and cannot be dispelled unless you get attacked by an ice elemental enemy. Also, it's not gonna suffer more than 50% HP from one attack, basically like a Tisurin. Now, one of the worst parts about Flame Alchemist is that the enemy ice elemental hero doesn't need to have strips to strip you, he just needs to attack you. You can see here, he has the buffs. Now the choose goes, and the buff is gone. I mean, this is horrible, why? Now we come to the skill 1, Ignite. He's gonna get 30 fighting spirits, he's gonna attack the enemy, increases combat readiness by 15%, and if he's granted Flame Alchemist, he's gonna use Earth Wave instead. Now with the Earth Wave, he's gonna get 30% combat readiness instead of 15, and he's gonna also penetrate 50% defense. So every single time you use this skill, you want to use Earth Wave. Every time you don't use Earth Wave, that's a loss for you. You get less combat readiness, and you do a lot less damage. So this makes me think he's gonna be kind of a niche pick against teams that has 0 ice elemental enemies, because if the enemy does not have an ice elemental hero, there's no way he can dispel the Flame Alchemist, so you're gonna basically do every time Heat Wave, and in that situation you can build him with counter, because you're gonna get combat readiness, he's not gonna care about HP, because he cannot die in one hit, and if you have Barrier and Heorius, he's gonna just stay alive, and you can turn cycle till you're S3. And this is gonna be the S3, and this is probably the worst part of the kit. I mean, he's gonna need 80 fighting spirits to use this, and he's gonna start the fight with 40, and he's gonna get 30 with the S1. So basically, even if he counter, and that's only a 30% chance, you are not gonna be able to use the S3 in the first turn. Also, if you have the book and the enemy does not have the Balian, you cannot even soul burn and use the skill 3, because again, you're just gonna get 70 fighting spirits in total. You need to counter and then to soul burn to use this skill on turn 1, and for a skill that only do damage, I don't think this is worth at all. I think they should buff this guy to get at least 50 fighting spirits at the start of the fight, so you can at least use him with the soul burn if there's no Balian, but this way, this is kind of bad. This is gonna be the artifact, 20% hit chance, 14% attack. I mean, this is pretty similar to the Symbol of Unity. You need a very high attack hero that can use this at the maximum potential, so probably the only hero I can think about is the Carrot, because she's gonna benefit a lot from the attack, she's gonna do a lot more damage with the burns, and also the artifact is gonna give her pretty decent attack, 273, so yeah, that's probably the only hero I can think about. So overall, I don't think it's gonna be that much used, it's gonna be a counter pick to teams that does not have ice elemental heroes, but other than that, I don't think it's good enough, and again, the Chu is gonna destroy him, because she's gonna S1 and then proc the S2 and kill him in one single turn. And now we come to the last Full Metal Alchemist hero, Riza. And now we come to the last hero of today, Commander Pavel, the next mullet 5-star. It's a light ranger, and he looks very sick here. And we can see the stats here. He has very high attack, very high crit chance with imprint concentration attack. He's kind of slow with only 109 speed. Now this is the best skill of his kit. He's gonna start the battle with 60 fighting spirits, and every time an ally makes a critical hit, he's gonna gain 20, and when he reach 100 fighting spirits, he's gonna activate Begone. What Begone does is he's gonna increase the attack of the caster for 2 turns, then he's gonna attack all enemies, basically like a Pavel S2, and then he's gonna increase his combat readiness by 50%. And 50% is an insane amount, guys. If you pair him with a 300 speed initiator, he only needs 150 speed to get a turn once he proc, if there's no Politis in the enemy team. If there's a Politis, you want him to be 225 speed to cut anyway. But I think you're gonna stick with the 150 speed to maximize the potential of the attack and the crit damage of the skill. Because I think it's gonna be a hit and die unit. You just want to S2, connect into the S3, and then he can just die. The damage is done. Now the problem with this skill though is that he's gonna need you to crit 2 times before he can get a turn. And the problem is, if you're gonna use the run, he's gonna only have one attack, the S3, if he doesn't RNL. If you use the Peira, she's gonna need to have crit chance, and she's gonna need to S2 and S1, and that's gonna be kind of meh in both ways. In the video they use the Lidica, you can also use something like Seed to crit 2 times, and that's probably gonna be the best synergy for him. Then you come into the S3, a very strong single target nuke. This is gonna ignore damage sharing effects, and this is gonna also penetrate defense by up to 70% based on the difference in his attack and the enemy's attack. So basically like a Stray's S3. You can also Soulburn for 2 turns cooldown. I don't think you care this, because again, he's gonna S2, S3, and then he can just die, the fight is gonna be over. Now to use this skill properly though, he's gonna need to S2, because he wants that attack buff so much, because if he doesn't get the attack buff, he cannot one-shot things like Rem, for example. And you want him to be as flexible as possible. The damage is huge, you can see here, he does 18k damage on an A Ravi with Proof of Valor. This one, just a single target attack, is gonna decrease the attack 75% chance for 1 turn. Pretty much the worst skill on his kit, he's gonna never use this anyway, probably. So overall, I think this is only a cleave unit. Now the thing is, are you gonna be able to use a slot for this guy? Because he's only gonna bring damage to the fight, and in cleave, every single unit has multiple roles. So I think overall this is gonna be a niche unit in cleave. You can use only if the enemy team go full tanky. In that case, you can use this high damage to burst the enemy anyway. Other than that, if the enemy is gonna start contesting with speed, you're gonna need all your speed imprints, and it's not gonna be an option. So I think overall, it's not a must-have unit, but if you're a cleave unit and you have a lot of resources to spend, you can go for him. It's gonna be a niche, valid option for you. Other than that, I don't recommend summoning for him. So yeah, that's gonna be it for today, guys. Let me know what you think in the comments as always, and yeah, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video, guys. Bye bye!